All right, here's the deal. I've been wanting to get back into woodworking. I've been lugging this whole thing around. It's been sitting under shelves, stuff's been piled on top of it. Anytime I want to make something out of wood, um, it's a pain in the ass to get to, so then I just don't do it. So I abandoned that idea. Now that we got the new shop, it's air conditioned and it's nice and everything. I need a nice assembly table that's also an outfeed table that also stores some less used tools like this lathe and a planer, and then also my rock tumbler. So everything's going to go in there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to sit out. I can be able to turn it on when I want to, make some cool stuff, and get back into stuff. So it's going to be a budget build. I don't have a lot of money, and that's it. Step one is to build the base. So the 2x4 frame with the OSB on the bottom. That way I can start building up a frame structure to hold this. Well, here's an issue. 2x4 doesn't reach all the way. These were sold as 8-foot 2x4s. I guess they're 92 and 5/8. I've got the panel on the bottom and just framed out around the perimeter. Now I'm going to flip it over and do some supports in the middle, and that will be the bottom structure done. All right, and I'm just doing one support for now, right in the middle. And when I flip it over, I'm gonna have to figure out where the table saw is gonna go, and I might come back and do another support. I'm not good at planning things out, but I am good at winging it, so I'm gonna wing my way through this thing. So I'm just cutting out some areas for the 2x4s to fit, and I just wanted to show you a little trick. I put a screw in there before because if you cut it out, then it'll fall underneath the whole thing you're working on, and you got to fish it out. It'll get in the way when you're putting the wood in. So this is the solution I came up with. It's a little handle, so I'll show you how it works. I really like these countersink bits, but man, they just like clog up nonstop. Y'all have one that y'all like? This one is a crappy one from Harbor Freight. All right, so I got a little frame built up with the table saw sitting flush to the top of here and flush on here. Now, when I add the tabletop, um, it's gonna lift. It's gonna raise this up, the thickness of the tabletop. So I'm gonna take the same material that's on the tabletop and put underneath the table saw. So the table saw will raise up the same height that the tabletop will raise up. You'll see. Wait a second, I'll show you. But first, I ran out of 2x4s for the bracing, so I'm gonna rummage through my scrap pile and do some horizontal bracing. Then the tabletop. All right, I found some OSB that's like stacked up thick that we use on our house, but it's a little too thick. It's thicker than the 2x4s, so I need to rip them down on the table saw. So I need to get this thing kind of halfway put back together so I can use it. All right, that was only a little sketchy cutting those down. The table saw is not secure, so it kept moving backwards, almost fell off the rails, and the blade is super dull. And I have no outfeed table, so it almost fell over. All right, that's the whole thing as far as framing goes, bracing. We got to stop here. A little notch cut out for the writhing knife. And yeah, so now I'm just going to plop on the top. Got a couple of layers. Notch out the area for the table saw. All right, here's the deal. Here's the plan. I've got 2 layers. Got an OSB layer and then a little masonite layer. I'm going to glue the masonite onto the OSB, put some weight on it, let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow I'm going to come in and notch out for the table saw. But this is just to, I just want to hold them together. All right. All right. That should be fine. All right, next step. I'm going to secure the top to the frame, screw it all in. Then I'm going to take a flush trim bit in my router and trim off everything so everything is nice and clean. So I have a good reference point from the edge to where the edge of the saw is so I can make the cutout for the table saw to come up. So that's what I'm going to do now. Covered in dust, obviously. It works, just messy with that flush trim. Probably have some breathing complications now. But on to the next step. Oh, that would have been that would have sucked. Because if I were to cut this line on the back side of the table saw, I forgot that I had that riding knife rod sticking out. Boom! I would have fucked up my shit. God damn it! Where's my fucking head? Ooh, look at that. Could also use a flush trim saw for Father's Day. Can't wait to get some dust collection up in here. That's one reason. Well, that's the only reason I'm doing it outside. Because the inside would get destroyed. It's one reason why I stopped woodworking in the first place. It was too messy. It was ruining everything. Disgusting. So instead of fixing the problem, I just quit and found something else, like knife making. But now I'm getting the itch again to woodwork, and I'll do something about the dust this time. Okay, side to side looks good. Surprise, surprise. I didn't plan something out ahead of time. So previously, I cut a hole in this support to account for this knife, or the rod, knife rod. Since we lifted the whole table saw up, now the hole is lifted up. So I need to extend this slot. It looks like it'll clear the masonite, but it won't clear the OSB. So that's not too big of a deal. Let me just mark it out and fumble through this one. Moment of truth. Nice. Hell yeah. So as you can see, the top of the table saw is not flush with the top of my table. So I'm going to fix this in the future. I'm going to put a full brand new handmade fence on here, and that's going to fix everything. But for right now, I'm going to put this shimming block up here, and it's going to raise it up to exactly where I need it, and that's going to be perfectly acceptable for now. I just decided to take the wings off because there's probably some shit in there, and there was years of caked on sawdust and a bunch of spider eggs. Before I get too far along, I want to go ahead and flip it over, install some caster wheels so that I can move it around, and then I'm going to install some other things. I'll tell you as we go along. But first, clean it up, sweep it up, get ready, flip it over, do all that. All right, so got the wheels on. I'm just going to clean up, flip it over. We just got a couple small things to do, and then we'll be done. Still have a little bit of movement here, so I'm going to put some corners, one on each side, or one on each corner, and that should give it some stability and keep it from moving around. Fun fact, I'm allergic to cedar, so this is going to be fun later. Trying to breathe. Also, fun fact, I just realized I didn't put any hole or access for the sawdust to fall through the table saw bottom, so that's gonna be an issue. I'm not going to glue anything on. I'm just gonna nail. Okay, got the edges covered in cedar. I'm gonna go ahead and trim off those edges, the corners. All right, one thing that's bothering me is all the different colors. You know, I got the plywood, I got the cedar, I got the masonite. You know, it's just all different. I really like the way this all black one came out. So I'm gonna get some spray paint everything except for the cedar and the top, of course. So everything's gonna be black, and then it's gonna have a nice wood top. Boom. All right, it's black. Got the top natural. I have some overspray on some of the cedar, but I'm gonna get the sander out, give it a once over, and then I'm going to, while I'm at it, while the table saw is out, I might just cut a little hole here, and then the sawdust can fall into a bucket or something for right now until I figure out this dust collection situation. All right, well, that's pretty much done. now I just need to seal everything. I'm going to put some shellac on the top and the sides of the cedar. That should look really nice. But first, I'm going to clean this whole big mess up, get everything nice and put away, and then I'll jump on to the finishing. I'm not using this shit. It's so thick. Let me show you. It's like goopy. All right, let me find something else. That ain't working. All right, got some of this. One polycoat. One coat polyurethane. There we go. Can't speak English. So hopefully this dries and I can sand it off. I know this stuff dries pretty quick too. Almost done. Just wanted to give a little bit of weatherproofing, waterproofing to this coat. I know that any kind of moisture in the air, or if I spill something on it, it'll soak it up. So Masonite and MDF, it's not the best stuff for moisture. Okay, here she is, or he, or it. Table saw, outfeed table. Everything's level. I have a place to store my lathe that I rarely use, but it's there if I need it. I got in and out feed for my planer. I also have my tumbler, which is like for my knives and stuff like that, under there. And I still have lots of room. It's mobile, so I can move it around. And it looks pretty to me. Possible upgrades. I'm going to build a new fence that's less shitty than this one. It's going to be made out of extruded aluminum, and it's going to be a full front mount here. It's in here. I just need to put it here. Probably going to get some kind of plug, outlet, power strip. Mount it there so I can have everything plugged in, and then I'll just have one plug going to the wall. Also, I'm going to hook up some dust collection. I'm going to make a dust collection cart. That's a future project, but I'm going to be able to roll that around, hook it up, and then have dust collection for all my tools and everything in the future.